So when working with programming or computer science in general, you're very often going to work with something called the comparison operators. So we're going to be looking at how we can compare different values in our programming, and we're going to see, and later on we're going to write instructions to do different tasks depending on the outcome of the value of the comparison. So to demonstrate this, let's start off by declaring we're going to want to declare two variables. So we're going to have const, we're going to have x. X is going to carry the value of 10. And then we're going to declare a new variable. We're going to call this one y, which is going to carry the value of 20. And our first comparison operator is going to be the identical operator. So let's declare a new variable. Let's call this one the identical value. Or just identical. Identical. And this is how it works. So we're going to go x, and we're going to go equals y. And this is how we compare values. So this is going to check if x carries the same value as y. And if we call our alert function and give it the reference of the identical variable and reload our browser, it's going to give us false. And this is because x does not equal to y because they carry different values. But if we change the value of y to 10, so both x and y are 10 right now. And if we reload our browser, it's going to now tell us that it's true. Identical is going to check if x is equal to y, and it's going to return true. So another thing is that we have the identical value and type. So this is only checking if the values are the same. So if we would do x equals to 10 as a string by adding quotation marks and run this program, it would still say true. And this is because of how JavaScript is a loose typed language. But we can fix this by adding a third equal mark. So let's declare a new variable and go const, and let's go identical value and type, which equals, and then we go x, and then we go equals y. So when we use one equal mark, we're giving a value. And when we use two equal marks, we're comparing values. And when we use three equal marks, we're comparing values and comparing data types. So if we run the identical value and type reference into alert here and reload the browser, it's now going to say false because they don't have the same data type. But if we remove the quotation marks on the x, it's now going to be true. And this is how we can compare values and data types. Moving on to our next operator, which is the different operator. So we're going to be checking if values are different to each other. So let's go and declare a new variable. Let's call this one just different or is different. And then we're going to go equals, and here we're going to check if x is equals to y, or I mean if x is different from y by using the exclamation equals mark. So we go x exclamation equals y. And this is checking if is x different from y. And in this scenario, they're both equal to 10. So this should be returning false because they're not different, they're equal. So let's check it out. So adding is different to our alert and reloading the browser. It's returning false because they're the same value. But if I make y to 100 and reload, it's now going to give us the value. It's now going to return true because x is now different from y. While doing the different check, you can also do type checking here. So let's declare a new variable and go const is different value and type. And then we go equals, and then we go x exclamation mark equals equals 2 equal marks to check the type and the value, and y. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make this one a string. So y is a string with value 100 and x is a number with value 10. And adding the variable to our alert and reloading the browser, it's now going to say true because they are different. But if we would make the x to 100 as well and reload, it still says true because they're different in data type as well. So if I remove the quotation marks and make it a number, it's now going to say false because the value of x is no longer different from the value of y. Okay. Moving on, so we're going to be looking at is greater. So we can also, when working with numeric values, we can also see if a number has a greater value than another number. So we can do that by starting off and declaring a variable. So go const. Let's name this one is greater. And we're going to check if x is greater than y. And we do this with these arrows. So we're checking is x larger than y. And then we're going to alert our is greater variable. And in this scenario, it should say false because x is not greater to y, it's equal to y. And that's correct, it's returning false. But if I would make x the value of 101 and reload, it would now say true. Okay? But we could also do a is greater and or equal. So let's declare a new variable and go const and name this one is greater or equal. And then we go equal, and then we go x, and then we go arrow is greater or equal y. And this is how the syntax looks for that. So we go is x equal or is x greater or equal to y. And if we put them to the same value now and call the is greater or equal declaration, so let's reload our browser, it's now gonna say true because now it's gonna return true if they're the same value. We could also be doing this with it. We could also check if the values are less by going const and then is less equal, and then we just use our arrow in the different directions. So is x less than y? Alerting this would say false, but making this one 99 would make it true because x is now less than y. And we could also do is less or equal. And that would be the last operator here. So let's go const, declare a new variable, and go is less or equal, and declaring it by checking if is x less equal or less than y. Oh, sorry. This is how it goes. So is less or equal. So now we're checking is x less or equal to y. And if we put them to the same value, it's gonna return true because they're the same value. And this is how we can work with comparison operators in JavaScript.